before lived on site in houses all down here, and the mill was situated over here on my right. At the end of that pathway that you can see just through there, there's a building that's now used by the SES. It was used by the office for the mill and also for the laboratory in there behind it too for the mill. They ceased the last crush of sugarcane in 1991. That was when the last bins went through. Prior to that date, the Hamilton Mill were looking to diversify and to get more. The tourism was just taking off in Cairns in the 80s, mid-80s. So CSR then started to plant all the exotic fruit trees. Now it wasn't just here because they did own all the land over where coals were and all there. So they diversified and started to plant a lot of trees in those areas, all these fruiting exotic fruit trees, because they thought they may be able to use them in the tourism industry to process some of those fruits as well. Anyway, as it turned out, the bottom fell out of the sugar market, so they just sort of stopped doing it altogether. And they were the days, of course, when those were here. Remember, they used to have a bit of a zoo here, not with tigers and things like that, but they had other animals here that were native here.
The train that went around.
The train going around, and there's a house that used to be there over where the service station now is, where they'd stop and people would go off and have a look at some of the art that was in there. It was a really nice, interesting place, and the station they got on, the building is still here, it's down that bottom end, and it's currently the Baptist church. So that's that church there. So that will probably go in the future because their land is still zoned as what it was as commercial. They didn't want it changed to church facilities, which were at cheaper rates or anything. They have kept their zoning as commercial over there, and but there's no entry from the back. When that happens in the future, if souls and things go on, I can show you when we get down there where council are going to be moving the community garden to and where another entry will be, so they won't have all the service vehicles coming this way. Anyway, at that time when CSR then was still there, they bought the water slides from Cairns. They were in Abbott Street.
Waterworks.
Yeah, the waterworks.
Waterworks.
That's right. That's it, the waterworks.
So handy to drop the kids off too when you were doing other things.
So they were over there, what was the small waterworks at that time. And then when CSR started to sell the land, well, Tom Pine was the mayor of Mulgrave Shire at that time, and they were selling off blocks to developers at the back. They closed the mill down and transferred all the machinery, or most of it, away. Tom said, well, council, and there's a rule that you have to promote and have so much land as public open space when you're doing a subdivision of hundreds of blocks of land. There has to be so much open space. So council acquired this land as Crown land with council as trustee, and then they had to buy the water slides because it was on a separate title and it was a commercial property. There was some angst about it with some of the councillors, not many, 2 of them I think were too happy about it, but went through anyway, and council did acquire those water slides over there. So they're now owned by council, and like a lot of the swimming pools around, they're just leased out. So they're leased out, and when they do major works, often that's part of what a new lessee would do to help him get brownie points to be able to get the lease. Again, we're going to do this and this, because this lessee has actually done quite a bit more work from other lessees. Usually they've always done it. So the pool, when it's done, would be managed by the lessee. They have to change their operating hours, of course, because people swim early in the morning, not the hours that the water slides are open. But that's in the future. We think there'll probably be money in next year's council budget for it. That could just be levelling the ground. But the good thing is, those trees along the front there on the fence line, they don't get impacted because there's a big grassy area there that is for the future if the pool ever needs lengthening from 25 metres. The big fig tree there in the corner as you come in, that will stay because the pump station will be just underneath in the corner of that. There are some very rare trees in here, palms. They will be dug up and relocated elsewhere in the gardens. So that's a good thing. Some of the big machinery that's in here as well will be moved. Our friends at Sugarworld, to promote the sugar industry so people know up close what sugarcane looks like, we've got a planting just over there. You can still see it. We're going to move that into an area over here because people have no idea how lovely some of that cane is, particularly the Badilla sugarcane. And some people have even planted Badilla sugarcane as a feature in their garden because the stalks, beautiful colour, and they're thick like this, but it was, you know, very hard cane to harvest, so there are lots of other varieties and it came out. So we put in 4 over there, 2 numbered ones, which were the hybrid ones, and the Pinder is over there and the Badilla. So they'll be moved. But what they can keep and transfer, they will do that.
And they grow from cuttings?
Sorry?
They grow from cuttings?
Yeah, you can just chop cane up. That's how they plant it. So we'll be right. And these stools here originally came from Moringa, just to make sure we weren't bringing in any diseased cane to an area that didn't have anything. So one of our members is a farmer off the top of Mount Peter there, so he got arranged to get those varieties of sugarcane from Moringa. That's what's over there to make sure it was thingy. So I'm going to give you a little history thing anyway.
Yeah, because Moringa is the station, is the research station on the highway going south.
Yes.
Yep.
On the left, going south.
So I do have one copy anyway of some history here for you. There's all the trees here. So a lot of the trees, you know, they've been maintained and added to all the time. And at the time I was with council, and I thought, and I know for a fact that too many people think, oh, we can't drive there, they're very close, and you know, it's too easy for council to knock down trees and create a car park. So if you've got a bit of a watchdog, you know, watching over things, you can sort of have a little bit of a finger in the pie and make sure those things don't happen. So there was nothing much over there. There are a couple of trees over there, which there's one in particular I know that when I asked the curator of the gardens, why is that one tree over there? And he said, well, that's probably the one that got lost and we didn't know where it ended up. It ended up over there. And there's another one right down there. And what he plants now, or brings out, he tries to keep different varieties of a type of tree in one area. So you'll see that sometimes some of us think, give us some things to eat because you can't eat cola. You know, they use in the Coca-Cola. There's lots of different varieties of that. And he's got lots of varieties of durian as well in here planted. We don't get much pilfering or anything really that we're aware of because the gardener sort of finishes, some things obviously go because the gates all shut at 7 o'clock anyway and people aren't allowed to drive in willy-nilly. So that gets kept up and now we're helping as well. Some of the trees that were right over where Coles were transplanted over here as well, some really nice fruiting trees, and a couple of them are still left just behind that doctor's surgery as you come out around the back there. So some of them were able to save. Some trees it's easier to put another one in, really in some cases, and try and dig it up and move it over. So that's sort of like Sugarworld up to date. I'm going to give you that. Now,
can I ask a question? I'm really interested about, you know, planting a collection of interesting tropical fruit trees is quite a, quite a unique thing to do. So I'm wondering if there was some people that were particularly involved in that idea.
Well, the Rare Fruits Association would be a great starting point. I'm myself a member and our Sugarworld friends are members of the Mossman branch.
So did the Rare Fruit Association
no, they had
get the idea? Oh, so who was the people that actually decided that it would be good to get the fruit?
CSR got people with the original plantings, and then now.
But you know what I mean? It must have been somebody to have that idea because they're into sugar.
But they would
So
have been in CSIR.
there was somebody in there in particular that would have thought about it, like the actual inspiration. That's what I'm interested.
They were back in
Sugar
the 70s
CSR.
and 80s.
But yeah, there would have been one person had that
And he was
inspiration,
possibly friends.
or she.
Yes, or friends with somebody in rare fruit.
Yes, could have been. Well, because Rare Fruits Association's all over.
So that we don't have
David
that
Wilmington,
information.
the curator, now is responsible for the planting. Most of this area, and this is where I had to watch now, apparently comes under the expertise of the Works Department of Gordonville. So this is where you have to watch because there's 2 trees out there in that roundabout, Amherstia nobilis. Beautiful trees too, as part of the most beautiful trees in the world. Their flowers are long backs of flowers. They're like sort of related to the handkerchief trees, orange and yellow and that come down. They're beautiful and you can drive around, but somebody thought they needed a bit of a prune. Because I drove them up to my God, which is me. What's happened here? All the lower branches have gone. So I rang the curator up, and that shouldn't have happened because if you've got someone in that doesn't understand trees doing maintenance, it's too easy for them to just prune them, you know, as people sometimes do, as a bloke with a lawnmower might do. If he doesn't know what his wife's planted.
Sound like you're talking from experience there.
So these are lovely trees.
So does Gordon Vale Council know now? Not
Yeah,
to touch
Gordon
them?
Vale is Cairns, Mulgrave now is Cairns Regional Council. And yes, well they know now, refer things to the curator if you're going in willy-nilly. And because now we have this group working here and we do volunteer stuff once a month, we've dug the holes, and put the new labels in and filled them up and water when we put new plantings. And there's other volunteers from Cairns that actually come out because they're members of some of the groups in Cairns with Botanic Gardens. So they come along and help us because there's only half a dozen of us as well. So I'll leave you that there, Lisa, that one there.
Okay, cool.
Now I have picked a couple of these because I thought what we would do, start our walk over that corner there because there's some interesting things. I picked this up off the ground the other day because I thought, well, I don't know if there's going to be on because this is a yellow canister. Now these seed shoot very readily. So often under that tree there's a lot of seedlings. I've got several of these seedlings now up to about here.
And I remember that one is a really nice one because the canistels taste different to each other. The yellow ones, yeah? You can get some really
Are
lovely
they fruiting right now?
custardy
They come
ones.
on and off, not a lot.
So with my cloves, which actually I've bought from the shop, I use the mortar and pestle and I crush them up, then I put them into water and I soak them in a bottle for weeks and even months, so I do quite big ones, and then I sieve them very fine in muslin and I make a spray and I clean all my benches with clove oil.
Excellent!
and they found
I saw them
a coin
before.
that
They
had
have
the kids
boys
at the school
inside
after
and they
the
have
end of the
one,
First
and
World
the
War.
girls have
seeds on one
a
side.
lot.
Can you
They're stamens, they're called. Oh, yeah, they're little rods that stand up.
And the boys have only got one. And what else have the girls
And they've got
got?
pollen on them, have they?
So we picked this one.
That the bees love to come and get.
And what do the girls have? Baby,
Baby pumpkins.
And
baby pumpkins underneath.
it looked like
So we know. And
And nuts in the grass basket that didn't get mouldy because it was made with lemon.
The one that they use in the riverbeds. What's that? Now, what
For
seeds
3 weeks, and some of them were left even longer. So when we were in Borneo, we went up to the Kalimantan border to see the lawyer cane people, who are the only other lawyer cane people outside of Barmah Rainforest in North Queensland. And these 2 lads came in with a little forest deer on their back, those pygmy deer, little forest deer, and lawyer cane, and they had specifically gone to this area to get this lawyer cane because it never went mouldy. And they made their particular beautiful, you know, the Borneo baskets out of them, that concertina and are very light. Yeah, and so those food baskets that had to soak their nuts and their fruits had to be able to withstand water, running water.
So why did he bring the deer back?
They eat them.
I was going to say, you're not going to tell me he brought it back to eat, are you?